right. You ready, Bucs fans? Are you ready? Let's get to this thing. Let's talk. We got all kinds of goodies. This is a packed show. This is probably the most packed show I've ever had. Packed with guests, packed with all kinds of things going on. We've got a ton to talk about. We got the Bears. We'll look back at the Eagles. We've got a ton of stuff to talk about. This show is jammed. I've not had this much stuff going on in one show, I don't think ever. We're going to go back and sort of revisit, reintroduce, reacquaint ourselves with an old, let's call it an old, well, you'll see. You'll see something that you'll be very familiar with. We can all get familiar with once again. Hello to you guys in chat. Hey, Ramona K. How you doing? Eric Cherry. Hey, Ben Parrish. Yes, Ben, it's a Bucs life, baby. It is. I am excited to be here because the Bucs are now 5-1. That's right. For all the complaining and all the griping and all the, oh no, oh my, we suck. Oh, the defense is terrible. Blah, blah, blah. We're 5-1. It's great to suck and be 5-1, isn't it? It's a new experience. And on a positive note, the Bucs are moving up the defensive rankings, even against the pass. They're ticking up just a little bit. They're on the way, on the incline. Guys are going to start getting to be more healthy little by little. We've got all kinds of stuff that's going on with that. I'm glad to see that they don't seem to be rushing people back. There is no need to panic. And David Whitescarver, my co-host on the post-game show, David's going to be here in just a moment. He's going to talk to you also about why you really shouldn't be panicking about this game. So we've got all kinds of things. We also, of course, have a visit from the enemy, from behind enemy lines. We've got some Bears folk coming by here, and another visit from our friend from Philadelphia who was here last week, who is coming back because if you remember on the show last week, we had a little bit of a bet and he's going to come back and eat a Cuban sandwich tonight on the air, on here, and sort of eat crow is more what he's eating. It might taste like a Cuban sandwich, but that is eating crow. So we got all kinds of goodies coming up, all kinds of stuff. There's just tons of fun. I'm going to go through this very, very quickly. It's a segment we do around here called You Are So Awesome. You are so awesome. All right, and because we're so packed, this is going to be a shorter version than normal. All right. So what we're going to talk about first, I want to say to Smitty, that's Lake Life GFL. I think they should trade Godwin. So right by him, since they won't use him. Well, seeing as how he's the most targeted receiver on the team, since he's on pace for 1,000 yards and they won't seem to use him. I mean, your judgment is absolutely phenomenal because you are so awesome. Yeah, that's absolute brilliance, my friend. Absolute brilliance. Pick out the guy that's the most targeted wide receiver and say we're not using him enough. You're awesome. Also awesome is the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are, I got to give them some props because they managed to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory on 4th and 1 when the field goal, I could have kicked it. When they were so close, it would have been easy to go to overtime. They decided to go for it on 4th and 1 and failed and lost the game to the Tennessee Titans. And they are a far better team than the Tennessee Titans. There's no excuse for it. So to the coaching staff and the decision makers in Buffalo who decided that was the right call to run off left tackle, which you had been failing at the entire game. You are
so awesome.
And last but not least, and I can't put this up on here because of copyright stuff, but Chris Broussard of Fox Sports 1, who went on a bit of a rant, went on a little bit of a tirade about, with this brilliant take about how the problem with running off left tackle is that Taylor Lewan was injured. And now you're running behind a backup left tackle. The problem is this. Taylor Lewan doesn't even play for Buffalo. He plays for Tennessee. So he literally went on this entire rant and entire explanation and was talking about a player that's not even on the team. This guy's on Fox Sports 1. He's an expert in the field. They have him on there as a voice for you to listen to and get your information from. So, to Chris Broussard and to Fox Sports 1.
You are so awesome.
Freaking idiots. Okay. I just that to me is hilarious. All right, let's move on. I think that we've got a lot to talk about when it comes to Philly, when it comes to Chicago, and there's nobody I would rather have this conversation with than my partner in crime, on the post-game show, none other than Mr. David White Scarver himself. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing great, Rick, except that horse head thing you have going on. I'm getting bad dreams in the middle of the night. I don't know why, but it's affecting me. I just wanted to share.
I don't. If you're dreaming about that horse, you need to find some better things to do during the day that'll occupy your thoughts. But okay, so let's talk. First of all, let's talk Bucs Eagles. Wow. The game was not as close as the final score showed. It was never in doubt. Do you agree? Did you have the same sort of feelings I did about that game?
Even though it was a 6-point game, I'm sitting there going, this shouldn't be that close. I mean, if you take away the pass interference calls and you take away that ridiculous 4th and 3 call by Arians or whoever made that call, then you're looking at single digits for the Eagles. I mean, the Bucs dominated that game on both sides of the ball. Yeah. So I would agree. I mean, you look at the score and you shake your head. It's like the Bucs really dominated. I mean, they could have scored at the end, but they just took a knee. I mean, they did what they needed to do. They went to Philadelphia. They got a win. They got out.
Yeah, agreed. And by
the way, a short week.
That shirt is so awesome.
Thank you.
So I gotta tell you, like when I watched the game, even when the Eagles brought it to within 6 points, it might as well have been 16. It just never felt like a threat. They never felt like a threat. They felt like, what's that saying? Full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. I mean, that's basically what I felt about them. It was like, oh, okay, that's cute. You're within 6. I mean,
it was like that. To use an NBA term, it was like garbage points when the game was out of hand. I mean, it made it look a little better in the stat column, but I never felt threatened. I never thought, oh no, they're one play away or something like that. It was a strange game in that regard.
Yeah. And then we'll tell you, Ramona Kay says the Bucs are going to destroy the Bills. I got to tell you, if the Bills play like last night, I have to agree. And can we all go ahead and push the eject button on the Kansas City Chiefs right out of our brain? Let's just go ahead. I mean, they're done. They're over. Get them out of our mind for the year. The Chiefs are done. They're not the AFC team to be looking at. I mean, that could change by the end of the year, I guess. As they say, never underestimate the heart of a champion, but this team is not that champion team. I just think we can press the eject button and just get the Chiefs out of our mind, get the Chiefs out of our thinking. Can we finally stop the baby goat talk? The ridiculous, stupid baby goat talk. Can we just stop that before I go on one of Rick's rants? I mean, it's like a massive pet peeve of mine. And now, okay, so we get the Eagles are nothing to linger on about, right? Nothing to spend too awful much time on. But we got the Bears coming in. Now let's talk Bears. The game this week is at 4:25, guys. It's the national game of the week, afternoon game of the week. So you'll probably be able to catch it wherever you're at, unless there's a local game on at the same time. Dave, thoughts on the Bears?
The Bears are in serious trouble. If you look at their injury list, Robert Quinn has been added, and he is Khalil Mack's partner in crime. He's right on the heels of Khalil Mack as far as sacks and tackles for loss. He's out. He's gone. He's got COVID. They're down to one running back. There was only one running back that actually made a carry in the game. He did well. He had 97 yards, but Khalil Herbert, he's a 6th-round pick rookie out of Virginia Tech. He was the only running back to touch the ball. Justin Fields looks like a rookie. He has occasional flashes, but I look for something to go on to like say this might be a game, but it's going to take like 5 or 6 turnovers to make it a game. And if you figure in last year where the Bears upset they beat the Bucs in Chicago. I got nothing if you're a Bears fan. I really don't.
No, I agree. I think this game's going to be ugly quick. I don't think it's going to be close. Actually, let me rephrase that. This game could go very similar to the Philadelphia game, where if it does get close at all, it's still not going to feel like a threat. It's going to be they're down by 13. They score a touchdown with a couple minutes left, and I mean, okay, so they pull it within 6, but none of us are going to be worried. I mean, you're going to have Brady coming back on the field. I don't see this as going to be close. I actually see it as going to be a pretty serious blowout.
If they try to run the ball, they won't be able to, and then it's in Justin Fields' hands, and that's I don't care how banged up you are.
I think he has 3 starts, and his yards are basically just about a Tom Brady half total.
Right. I mean, he's got a quarterback rating in the 60s. He's been sacked 22 times. Tom Brady, for comparison, has been sacked 9. I think it's going to get ugly.
And our defense is just terrible, Dave. Terrible. We're just terrible.
Yeah, they're awful.
We're awful. We're horrible.
I'm going to have to get one of those bags and wear it when the defense comes on the field.
It's just it's phenomenal. I mean, the defense is ranked. I think it's 19th or something like that at this point. I'm not positive on the rankings, but the point of the matter is they're slowly climbing, and points given up, they're doing just fine, thank you. And I just don't see how the Bears are gonna do much. Now, Tom Brady, the last rookie quarterback Tom Brady lost to was Geno Smith back when he was a rookie. So I mean, that's been a while. Okay, Brady doesn't lose to rookie quarterbacks.
I mean, the Bears defense has been decent. They've played well at times, but losing Robert Quinn to COVID, I'm like, Khalil Mack, he doesn't have a partner in crime without him, and I think this is going to get ugly early and stay ugly.
Hans Gruber says David shirt is straight out of Ralph Lauren, circa 1984.
Hey, keep it long enough, it comes back, right?
Ben Pear says, Teresa Baxter, we definitely got too relaxed. Can't do that against the good teams. The thing is, Ben, we don't really play any good teams from here on out. I mean, it's kind of weird. We play Buffalo. But we don't play much as far as good teams from here on out. It's kind of crazy, the schedule. We got all our tough stuff over with the Cowboys and the Rams, and all that's over. And the rest of the way, schedule looks a lot easier. Now we got to play the Saints twice. Simmer down, everybody. I know. Just simmer down. Jameis is still Jameis. That means if he has a good game, if he has another kind of game, Look, we got them twice. We should get at least 3 picks total. That could happen in one quarter, but you never know. We should get at least 3 picks.
When we play the Saints, Alvin Kamara has to have an outstanding game for it to, quite frankly, be a game.
Yeah.
If the ball ends up in Jameis's hands, I like our chances no matter who's playing a defensive back.
Yeah, I mean, I saw him throw the Hail Mary where he got lucky and got a touchdown out of it. And the thing is this, you can't count on that. No, we're experts in this, in the fact that you can't count on it. We watched it for years. That's next week. That's after the Bears. And it's hard not to look forward, and doggone it, the Buccaneers had better not be doing exactly what we're doing right now. I can't wait for next week, by the way. Next week's show is going to be a lot of fun. Because all those, who dat loudmouth, pain in the butt people. Hopefully we'll get Brian. Dave, you've not met Brian. Brian is a Saints fan who, for some reason, hung around our shows last year. I don't know what was going on, and became a regular on our shows, kind of like the Jackass Giants fan is on the post-game show.
Did he show up after the playoff game?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Props to him.
Yeah, well, I mean, telling us how lucky we are and we're not that good. And Jameis is, and Brady, just ripping Brady the entire time. It was
of course. Really, I mean, he hasn't peaked yet. He's getting close to his peak. He just hasn't peaked yet.
He's approaching his prime. I mean, he's getting to be just about there where we can start to expect Brady to show his real true potential. He's having his best year ever. Let that wash over you. When we signed Tom Brady last year, if somebody said to you next year, the second year, when he's, half Methuselah's age, when he said, if he said next year, Brady's going to have the best year of his career, that would have sounded stupid. It really would have sounded stupid. Tom Brady's having the best year of his career. Tom Brady just threw for the first time ever. He threw for over 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. He'd never done that before. I mean, this is ridiculous what he's doing.
He's hung in there throughout his career. Now he's finally seeing the fruit of his labor.
He's finally blossoming and coming into
coming into his own. Props to him.
Yeah, good for him. It's good. It's great to see someone branch out, find an opportunity where they can, maybe finally see that success they've been aiming for. But anyway, are there any other teams that you see right now that you look at and go, wow, they look really good? I mean, the Rams have looked beatable.
I'm starting to put the Cowboys in that category. And I think that week one, people were like, oh, it's week one, weird things happen. But the Cowboys don't look like your typical Cowboys who can run the ball some and have a good offense, but the defense doesn't show up. They're playing well, and they have one loss. And we know who that was to, and they're looking strong.
Yeah. I saw a Cowboys fan earlier this week still complaining about a pass interference call that they didn't get in week one. An offensive pass interference call against the Bucs that they thought, if you guys can remember that play near the end of the game. And I'm laughing about it. And my response to him was, are you still crying about your girlfriend from high school that dumped you? I mean, it was week one. Come on, man. Move on. Let it go. I feel like breaking into some Disney song or something. I don't know. But anyway, but yeah, I think the Cowboys they look like they're going to be a tough out. They really, really do. The defense, I think, will probably come back to earth later in the year. Why can't I think of his name? The former Falcons coach, who's now their defensive coordinator.
Dan Quinn.
Yeah. I think reality will set in. So we'll see. I don't know. Johnny Dean says, I certainly don't want to see many blowout games. One thing that kills football for me is yawn games, whether they're my team or not. Once in a while, it's good to see them in a statement game, but a statement game needs to be against a good or equal team. Otherwise, it can be redundant. You know what, Johnny? I hear you, but I really wouldn't mind seeing a real blowout. I don't care. Let's just beat the living snot out of Chicago. I mean, I'd like to win by 35. You know,
When it's
I'd
my
like
team, I like a blowout.
yeah, I'd like to see.
I'm a lot more calm.
Yeah, a 35-point win. I know what you mean. Exciting football is exciting football, but we get to watch a whole lot of other football. Let's let it not be our team. But I understand your point, Johnny. I do understand your point, but I'd still rather win by 35. I'd rather drop 50 on Chicago and just embarrass them. The Bucs, I believe, have a chip on their shoulder about last year's game. I do think they're going to go in with a little bit of attitude and want to make a statement based on last year. So last year's game, Johnny, we talked a lot about it. You and I talked about Thursday games and traveling on Thursday. And let me tell you something. The Bucs had to do their Thursday travel this year, and they made it through. For everybody who says this team is not as good as last year, at the end of this year, you're going to look back at the record and go, holy crap, they are much better. Now, the thing is this. Here's where the problem comes in, guys, and here's why everybody's complaining about the Bucs defense. Unrealistic expectation. This belief everybody was throwing around that maybe we'll go undefeated. This, all this talk about, stuff that look, guys, there aren't a lot of teams in front of the Bucs that they can't beat. But you don't always win the games that you can or should. And it doesn't mean you're a bad team. It doesn't mean that you're a bad team. When the Bucs lost to Chicago last year, were they a bad team or did they have a bad week? Sometimes stuff happens. You don't get a couple of calls. The ball bounces weird. You just having an off day. It doesn't mean your team sucks. It happens. Did New England ever go undefeated? Sort of. Once. Sort of. They lost the Super Bowl. But other than that, all those Super Bowl years, everything, did they ever go undefeated? No. That means they lost to somebody that wasn't as good as them. So, yeah, at some point, we're probably going to lose to a team that we're, a little bit better than. Okay. Everybody's going to freak. I promise. Dave's in my show. Our post-game show will be a blast because everybody's going to be freaking out. We're going to have to talk y'all off the bridge, tell you don't jump. I mean, everybody's going to be like, completely freaking out because somebody's going to drop a pass that game or something's going to happen. Everybody's going to lose their minds. But I don't know. Look, I want to see the Bucs dominate the next the next 2 weeks. Let's get 2 complete blowouts the next 2 weeks. Now, I understand it's not as exciting. You want to know what exciting football is? I want you to think about this. You're talking about not wanting blowouts. Johnny, remember how exciting it was when Jameis was here? It was always exciting, edge of your seat, pull your hair out, roller coaster ride, screaming at the top of your lungs like you're just about to die, and then followed by moments of ecstasy. It was that's
Look at that throw. How did he throw it that far?
Yeah, that's exciting. Would you rather have that than Tom Brady? Tom Brady's not exciting. Tom Brady's not exciting, Johnny. Tom Brady he's kind of boring. He just goes out and does his job. By the way, I want to mention Tom Brady's marketing team and this whole trade thing that they did. Freaking Tom Brady is a champion at life. He is a champion at everything. When it comes to basically name it, Tom Brady wins. Okay? He won. He's the champion of that. Beautiful wife, Tom Brady. Money, Tom Brady. Super Bowl rings, Tom Brady. Looks,
and he
Tom
loves
Brady.
his dad. There
Loves
was
his
the
dad,
spot
Tom Brady.
where a kid asked him, "Who's your hero?" And he said, "It's my dad," and he gets choked up. I mean, what more do you want?
Yeah, the guy is, he's changing the lives of people like Antonio Brown and others. And Tom Brady is a champ. Okay. Having said that, I really prefer boring over the white knuckle screaming excitement, edge of your seat, melodrama every moment, never knowing what's about to happen. Oh my God, like dating a crazy girl. I don't want that. We had that with Jameis. Okay. And just like when you date a crazy girl, things are going to go bad and you're going to end up with the cops in the driveway. Parts of it are great, but there's bad stuff coming. Okay. So you got to get ready for that. All right. So we have told you guys that, we have visitors from we'll call them the friendly frenemies. We'll call them. Okay. It's a good way to put it. Let's bring one in. Johnny, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well.
I'll get you uncovered there in just a moment. There we go. So, last week you came on the show. I gotta give you credit. You did come on here. Now, you came back. You showed up, even though you were supposed to be wearing red and you're wearing Eagles attire. But
there's a red hat.
I'm sorry. What shade of red is that? Really red?
It's not red. He probably doesn't own red. That's probably what it is.
He came back. Give him credit.
But the thing is this: he went out of his way and did the deed. Stood up. He's a stand-up guy. He's major props. He's here. We had a little bet. If Philadelphia won, I would eat a Philly cheesesteak, and if Tampa won, he would have to eat a Cuban sandwich. Now, to be honest with you, this is a good bet to lose. Okay, this is a good bet to lose.
I'm not sure.
Look, worst case, I would have had to have a Philly cheesesteak. Worst case, you got to have a Cuban sandwich
with cheese whiz. Do not forget the cheese
right,
whiz.
Right. So
he doesn't have to worry about that.
Right. Have you had one of these before?
I'm not a ham person. I've had bad experiences with ham, so
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I don't eat.
Oh, okay. Just don't worry. Else, I promise you, it's going to taste like crow. Just take a bite for us.
All right. So
you've had bad experiences with ham. You're having another one right now, aren't you?
I am actually. I will be.
Look at that. All right. You're a stand-up guy. Don't make yourself sick and eat anymore.
No, we don't.
I don't want to get you sick, man.
We don't want like food poisoning or something or a type of reaction it's poor.
That was the issue. When I had ham, it was back in freshman year of high school. It must have been bad because I went home sick and puked everywhere, and it was just chunks of ham. So
we don't want chunks of ham on the show.
It's not. It's
funny. Do you like bacon?
I do like bacon. I like turkey bacon.
Kind of the same. Turkey bacon's not bacon.
It tastes good. So.
It's like a cross-dresser and saying it's a girl. You know. I mean,
well,
wait. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
I'm not saying that.
Listen. The game last week, you guys put up a fight. It was not a blowout by any means.
Well, it was close until the Eagles got a little lucky and scored some points to make it look a lot closer.
Yeah. Got it, man. I really expect you to come back in with to give a little bit of crap, but you're like the nicest human being in the city of Philadelphia.
The problem is, Tampa Bay fans like to they like to bring up the past, and they like to bring up 2002. And I've heard that. And then, you have Jameis Winston and you guys suck. And then you luck into Tom Brady because the San Francisco 49ers don't want him. So you luck into that and luck into some success here these next couple, maybe another year or so. And then you're going to be back to where you usually are.
Where you are after your Super Bowl?
You will be.
Might be back there.
Don't worry. The Eagles are coming up, and you'll see. While the Tampa will go back down.
It will happen eventually.
My only thing is the Eagles' quarterback situation is what hurt them. during that game. There were so many open reads that he was not throwing the ball.
Yeah.
But again, you are going to play with what you have. So you're not going to go to Joe Flacco. So they're not going to do that. But, you know, it is what it is. It's frustrating. Don't get me wrong. I was frustrated. The way the defense played, all around, it was a frustrating game. And again, we went through last season with, piss poor quarterback play. Yeah. And, everyone thinking that guy in Indianapolis is so great now because he played the shitty Houston Texans.
Right.
It's just funny how people, like to bring all that up. The Eagles are a rebuilding team. And right now, the Miami Dolphins are helping them. The counterparts down in Florida there. They're helping them get better. So, it sucks. The Eagles' schedule is going to get easier. So the problem is they have to be able to beat those easy teams, beat those teams that are below them. So that's what we're waiting on. It was a tough start, but Tampa's a tough team. I will give them that, a tough team. And if it comes up where it's Tampa and somehow Dallas again, there's no way I'm not.
Yeah, you're rooting for the Bucs in that case. Yeah.
Yeah.
We could not ask for anything more.
Right.
That's an absolute no-brainer. So, but sandwich isn't too bad. Philly cheesesteaks are by far much better than this.
Okay, so I agree with you 100% on that, Johnny. Philly cheesesteaks are much better.
I will say
thumbs up from this corner too.
I agree. Cuban sandwiches are okay, but
do you know why Cuban sandwiches are so popular? It's because all the old people are in Florida, and all the old people, they like their ham sandwiches. Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, can you put it on some pumpernickel? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I like pumpernickel.
Like I said, the old people. All right.
Hey.
Johnny, thank you, my friend. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for being a stand-up guy and fulfilling your end of the deal.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, you're awesome. You are awesome, and I'd love to come by and visit at some point on your show.
Hey.
Take care.
Absolutely. Take care, man.
Have a good to see you, Johnny.
Good seeing you.
All right. Awesome. Good times. That's a stand-up dude. He came up. He did it. He actually did it. So you got to give him props.
I told a number of friends, it's like I ran into a Philadelphia Eagle fan who was like a stand-up cool guy. He was like compassionate.
Depressing. I know. I was a little depressed at that fact. Keith Larson says we kind of want chunks of ham on the show. Yeah, I would have. Dave said we don't want that. I kind of would have thought it was fun. It's a terrible thing about me, but come on. Yeah, Johnny says, come on, at least a gag or two. Yeah, but that's not what we're into, Johnny.
So I guess he told the story to get out of eating it.
He ate a bite, and then that was good enough. That was He was so nice. I felt bad. I cannot believe I actually felt a little bit bad and felt a little bit of compassion for an Eagles fan. Only briefly.
Nice.
Only briefly. Don't worry, everybody. It passed. Okay.
I think it's more Philadelphia Eagle fan and nice in the same sentence, and from it was hard to handle. It took me a while.
It was disturbing. I'm hoping our Bears folks tonight are gonna bring a little more heat. He got going there for a little bit there. He almost got it going. Did you notice?
He's been practicing. I could tell.
Yeah, he's getting good. He's got you like dwelling on the past. You like you're living back in 2002. You're living in blah 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 blah. And then
you're gonna lose like we did after the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I know that's when he said you're gonna go right back to suck after Brady leaves, and I'm like, you did, you just thanks for teeing me up, buddy.
Yeah,
we need the only team that's really brought any heat this year at all was the Dallas Cowboys fans, and they're the only ones who came with any fire at all. So hopefully we'll get a little bit from.
And look where their team is now.
Yeah, well, I mean, let me put it to this way. I'm glad we've already played them. I'm glad we caught them in week 1.
We caught them at a good time.
Yes, we did. So I don't know. And by the way, the Bucs, all kinds of roster news. The Jaden Mickens merry-go-round continues. They cut him again this week. Brought in somebody, a linebacker. which might say something about Levante David. I'm not sure. I don't believe Levante David practiced today. If I'm incorrect about that, could someone know? But I don't think he practiced today. I also don't believe Gronkowski was even at practice today.
Those two and Antoine Winfield Jr. are officially listed as questionable for this week's game. Rob Gronkowski and Levante David.
Okay.
And Richard Sherman's doubtful, and he's expected to miss weeks, plural. So
right. And Jamel Dean. I thought you just said something about him.
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyway.
But I can.
Okay. No, that's fine. It's all good.
Okay.
All right. So, and we're not hearing anything about Sean Murphy bunting yet. And I'm guessing that'll probably come after the bye week. That's when I'm guessing we're going to see him. And at this point, guys, I am like you guys. I do not want to rush any of these guys back. But if they can play, let's get them on the field, but use them conservatively. If that makes any sense to you. Uh-oh. It's time to go behind enemy lines. We have we have a frenemy of the show who's coming on now. Let me bring him in here. All right, Mr. Kevin Lopka, is that correct?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Let me move you right up there. There we go. We can see it better. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Look, I'm feeling the pressure. I was hearing you guys before, and you're saying not a lot of people are bringing the heat. You got me worked up now. I feel like I got something to prove here.
We'll trash talk a little bit. Come on, give us a little something.
Hey, look, it's different though, because when you're in a position that the Bears are in, trash talking is a lot more difficult than
you beat us last year. Why am I having to help?
Okay. Well, okay. Well, no, don't worry. I'll come with it. Don't worry. I'm just saying it's a little bit more difficult than say you were a winning team with a whole lot of things to feel positive about.
Yeah, you are correct. It's easier to come from the position of being Super Bowl champs. Yeah.
That's the one thing we could hold our hat on last year. We beat the Super Bowl champs. So
yes, you did.
Ride with that.
Yes, you did. And let me tell you something. That's a game fans all year referred back to. That was that was the most hated game, I think, of the Bucs season last year. The Bucs, I mean, they hated that loss. The way that it happened, Thursday Night Football, the way that it went down. Everybody felt like, okay, the team's better than that, and they didn't play like it, and the Bears beat them. And to be honest with you, it was 2019, but again, the Bears beat them. I don't even think it was as close. By the way, Jake or Kevin, I'm sorry. Kevin, you are from, I want to make sure I get this right, the Bears Nation podcast. That's at Bears Nation Pod on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
That is correct. My fellow co-host Jake works at one of the top radio stations in Chicago. He caught up with some overtime, which is why he's not here today. But yeah, Bears Nation Pod. Check us out, I guess. Follow us. So yeah.
Awesome. So what is it that the Bucs need to look at, need to be concerned about with the Bears? What's the best part of the Bears?
The best part about the Bears is the running game, which is why this is a terrible matchup, because the Bucs are allowing 54.8 rushing yards per game to opponents, and they're allowing only 3.7 rushing first downs per game to opponents. But the interesting thing to note, as you look at those statistics, is that teams recognize that. So they're rushing against the Buccaneers at the lowest clip in the NFL, in the league, at 27.15%. So that's where, the Bears know that. The Bears do their research going into, I don't even know if they do, if I'm being honest. Sometimes what we see on Sunday, I'm skeptical about that. But if they did, in an alternate universe where they did their research and understood that, they would go into this game, trying to air it out a little bit and do more with Justin Fields. But the problem is they play way too conservative all the time, and they're never going to be a competing team with this ideology of football. I mean, I was listening to the Chris Sims podcast on Button on NBC, and he was talking about the Cowboys and the Bucs and the Ravens and the Chargers, and how the old adage of defense wins championships is over. I mean, you can have an average defense. And I believe it is. I mean, you look at the
Super Bowl last year.
Yeah, the Super Bowl is an interesting game because between those two teams, between the Buccaneers and the Chiefs, the defense won that game. But when you talk about the course of a season and consistently throughout a season, it's not sustainable. Winning by defense isn't sustainable, which is why you saw. you
That's
saw
kind
the
of
Bears.
saying, isn't it? Or offense wins games, defense wins championships. That's yeah.
But I just think in this age of the NFL in 2021, and just in how it pertains to the Bears, they've won 3 games off of very low scoring affairs against the Detroit Lions, against the Las Vegas Raiders, against the Cincinnati Bengals. And, the game last week against the Packers, they're down 3 with 8 minutes to go. But you don't have the offense to overcome when Aaron Rodgers goes down the field in 5 minutes and rushes it in and tells the whole, basically tells the whole city of Chicago to go screw themselves. When he does that, you don't have the offensive power to come back for that. And that's why I say it's not sustainable. So now you look at this week, you go up against a Tampa Bay offense that seems to be firing at all cylinders, which it typically is when Tom Brady is at the helm. I can't go into this game feeling confident enough that they're going to be able to replicate what happened in 2020, which is, that's every Bears fan's argument going into this game, at the surface level as well.
Yeah.
We beat them last year. Why don't we just do what we did to them last year? Because those types of games are a dime a dozen. I mean, they really are. I mean, Khalil Mack had 3 sacks in that game. You're not going to stop Tom Brady and hold him to 19 points and allow the Buccaneers to kick field goals 2 years in a row. It just won't happen.
You're probably correct about that last part. But let me say this, and I can't believe I'm doing this again. I'm helping the other guy let me give you hope. Okay.
Give me hope. Look, I'm one of the most optimistic guys in Bears media, but I could use some of it right now.
Let me give you hope. Let me say this. First of all, the Bucs do have a tradition of struggling against rookie quarterbacks. All right. This is long-standing. Every fan in this chat will tell you this is a long-standing, you can count on it tradition that the Bucs struggle against rookie quarterbacks. All right. Number 2, you're not going to run on the Bucs. Okay. You're not. You can try. You're not going to have any success if you try.
Right.
But short dink and dunk passing kills us. Okay. That's how you beat the Bucs. That is the way to do it. Now, the teams that you beat, here I am helping you. The teams that you beat and played tough are not bad teams. All right. You played the Packers tough. You played the Bengals. I mean, the Raiders. These are not bad teams.
Well, they beat the Bengals. So
right.
Beat the Bengals and the Raiders. Right.
Right.
But
so,
I mean, you're at the point though where playing teams tough isn't enough anymore. I mean, like that we've been playing teams tough for years. I mean,
backwards. This is so freaking backwards. This is hilarious.
So look, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you have Robert Quinn out. That's a huge loss. He's out on COVID, and Damian Williams is as well. Aren't they both out?
Well, so Damian Williams tested positive, so he's officially going to be out. But Robert Quinn still has the opportunity to test negative twice, and he may return. We don't know if his status today was a positive test, so his status is up in the air. Damian Williams is officially out, but quite frankly, it doesn't matter. Khalil Herbert is just as good, if not better. In my opinion, from a pure rushing standpoint, Damian Williams, his value really comes from a pass catching standpoint. But if you watch the game against Green Bay, I mean, Khalil Herbert did not look like a 6th-round rookie out of Virginia Tech. He looked ready to go. He hits the gaps really well, has great burst and speed, has kick returning background as well. So that's where some of that burst comes from. But, if you want me to start to see, and find ways the Bears can win this game, I broke down the stats of the Buccaneers passing offense. And I kind of looked back. What I'd like to do is go back to the games that the Buccaneers lost and see how or any opponent, see how the opponent beat them, So I go back to that Rams game and I go back to the highlights and I see what happened. And I see, there's a lot of short stuff in dink and dunk that, allowed the Rams to get in rhythm. But the one thing that they were able to do that the Bears significantly lack is the ability to hit on the deep play and the ability to hit not just on the 70-yard play to Deshaun Jackson, but, the intermediate throws, 15 to 20 yards. I mean, the Bears are allergic to throwing in that area, which is completely illogical because Justin Fields was one of the best college quarterbacks of all time at throwing in between the yards of 10 and 20.
Let me tell you something. Let me make you feel better. The cure for your ills is the defense you're about to face, because that's the weak spot for the Bucs defense.
Right, okay? And I would like to believe that, but they played a Packers defense last week without Jair Alexander, without Kevin King, without Zadarius Smith. I mean, that they had every ability to do, and Darnell Savage went out early in the second quarter. They had every ability to shred that defense apart. Matt Nagy the problem? Yes, Matt Nagy is the problem. I don't know how familiar you are with Bears discourse on this, but
he's in his 4th season, isn't he?
Yeah, he's gone after this year. I thought he was going to get fired on Monday. The problem is the Bears organization doesn't have the audacity to fire head coach mid-season. It'll never happen. That's never the way they've operated.
What are you going to do, though? What good does it do?
It does a lot of good because you ask yourself, what did Matt Nagy do for the team? I mean, every single game that they win, no one can pinpoint it down to Matt Nagy. I mean, he doesn't help you in any way. He's switched over play calling. He's there to yell in the ref's face if he wants to and make some good cameos on the television screen. But other than that, I mean, he doesn't provide you with any sort of value.
Okay. But I mean, if you get rid of him now, what's the advantage to doing it now? I guess. You know what? I guess you can start.
You feel better?
Search.
I mean,
you can start your coach's search, maybe from a marketing standpoint, I guess. But who's going to take over the team, and how is it going to help?
The problem is Matt Nagy has really what it pertains to is Justin Fields and the way he's mismanaged that situation. I mean, losing Matt Nagy probably does wonders for Fields. He doesn't have development anyway. He hasn't developed any player really. I mean, you can pinpoint maybe 3 or 4 players under the Matt Nagy tenure that he has developed. I mean, they bring in Marquise Goodwins, Damiere Byrds, guys who have had success in worst offenses, and they come here, and Damiere Byrds on pace to have 51 yards at the end of the year, and he had 600 last year in New England, and that's just one of many examples of players who come to Chicago and don't get developed. So he's mismanaged the whole situation. Justin Fields, this is going to be his 3rd week knowing for sure he was chosen as QB1. The delay of that situation is part of the reason why his development is so stunted and so delayed, because he hasn't been getting the reps with the ones like Mac Jones has since the inception of training camp.
Okay.
If you fire Matt Nagy, then do you have just a Matt Nagy guy doing the same thing, or who would take over?
I mean, you probably look at John DeFilippo or Sean Desai, the defensive coordinator who's been real good for us, taking over at the head coach position. And quite frankly, everyone in the world would take that because, again, losing Matt Nagy doesn't bring you down. It raises you, honestly, if I'm being completely honest. And I think the part that the reason why these conversations start to get had is when you start to see issues in the locker room. And prior to last week, before they got that win over the Raiders, there were some serious issues in the locker room. Players were upset that Justin Fields was not officially being named QB1. Players were upset that the offensive plan hasn't changed, that he's being egotistical enough to continue to call plays. And there's people who are wondering if he was calling plays last week against Green Bay. He doesn't know what to say when he goes to press conferences. It would be a lot. Everything would seem to be a lot more simpler and easier because everything he does overcomplicates things way more than they need to be complicated.
Okay.
It just alleviates a lot of things if he were fired. And that's why everyone's in favor of it, to just do it now. And it doesn't matter.
Now, I've got a question for you. And this is as an outsider, this is a genuine question. There's something I don't understand. You guys had Mitch Trubisky. And I never knew what to think about him because you would hear Bears fans who loved him and you would hear Bears fans who hated him. And I never, as an outsider, I have no opinion about him other than, I mean, I'm confused. Okay. Do you guys wish you still had him? What?
Not anymore. Now that Justin Fields is your quarterback, that conversation is just about ended, but it resurfaced because of what we've seen from Justin Fields in the first few games of his NFL career. And the question that people now pose, that I posed for years on our podcast, Bears Nation podcast, was Matt Nagy doesn't know how to tailor to the strengths of his quarterback. And that was, traditionally the story around Mitch Trubisky. Now, the fundamental difference between Trubisky and Fields is Trubisky had limitations that are going to exist regardless. I mean, his accuracy isn't there. His ability to read defenses isn't there, but he could have done you enough to win more games than they were winning the past 3 years. I mean, he had the ability to do more in that offense than what was being done. And that was evident when Bill Lazor, the current play caller for the Bears, became the play caller at the end of last year and play called for about 7 games. And in 4 of those games, they scored 30 points. It was the first time scoring 4 straight games of 30 points since like the 1970s for the franchise. So everyone recognized there, well, it's clear. We have the evidence to prove Nagy was the issue. He wasn't tailoring to the strengths of his quarterback. And that's why, people are now understanding. It took them a while. Mitch Trubisky was never as much of the problem as was Matt Nagy. Mitch Trubisky, I don't think can win you a Super Bowl, but was he as bad as made out to be? No, that's certainly not. If you give him a coach like Brian Dable, I mean, he loves Buffalo. He loves it over there.
Who do you want to be your next head coach?
Brian Dable, Kellen Moore, one of those two, honestly. Okay. I mean, but
the name everybody's throwing around. The
What's
obvious name. Jim
the
Harbaugh.
enemy or
No,
Harbaugh?
Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh
Yeah, coming from or just Jim. I always get them mixed up. No, from Michigan.
from Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Jim.
Yeah,
I don't want anything to do with Jim.
right.
Quite
Right.
frankly,
That's
He's a
the
former
name
Bears
I keep
quarterback, though,
hearing
so.
thrown around is Jim
Eh,
Harbaugh.
Those names.
Well, for
always get
Justin
thrown
Fields,
around.
it's the school to the north is where he's from. You don't actually refer to the M word.
Exactly right. That team up north.
Yeah. By the way, I got to tell you something. The lights that you have on the around the top of your
Mhm.
see those are cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it adds a little spice to my room. You can change
Yeah.
the colors, so you can let them
Nice.
flash and stuff. So
Nice.
Oh
we
wow!
like to spice it up on the show because we do live shows as well, and we like
Yeah.
to make it fun in here. So.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. There's a pole in the corner. No, I mean he gets the lights. He gets But yeah, it's I'm looking forward to this game. I don't think this game is going to be as close as last year. I don't understand the Bears because it doesn't feel like they've ever. This seems like a team that's just been stuck in one place. They're not getting better. They're not getting worse. They're just
Exactly.
they're just there. And I've got a question. I've asked every fan of every team that we've had on here every week. Some of I kind of want to get a feel. Are the Bucs, there are teams like New England for years, or the Cowboys, or there are teams that are just hateable, right? Winning teams that you just hate.
Yes.
Are the Bucs and beyond? I mean, tell me the truth. Are the Bucs hateable? Are they that kind of team, or what is the vibe that you get from the Bucs when you look from the outside?
It's the fact that Tom Brady's hateable. It's not the fact that the
Right.
Buccaneers as an organization are hateable, because a lot of that, stems from their fan base. Why
Right.
do people hate the Cowboys? Not because they hate Jerry Jones
Right.
or Dak Prescott. It's because they hate the annoying ass fans that are there,
Right.
I have no problem with Buccaneers fans. They seem like nice people. I haven't interacted with a whole lot of them, but no, you look at the Bucs on your schedule, you say, I don't hate them. It's just the fact that Tom Brady's there. But, I've never personally had a pure hatred for Tom Brady. I mean, I've respected a lot of things he's done. And then I think you guys talked about this earlier, just what he's been able to do from a marketing standpoint has been great for the league. And it's been hilarious, quite frankly.
Yeah.
So I think in a lot of different ways, people have enjoyed seeing that. And, people hate the New England fans, but they don't hate the Bucs fans. So that's naturally why they don't hate the Buccaneers as much as, they hate the Patriots, and people also hate teams that win too much. That's part of it too. If the Buccaneers start to accumulate Super Bowls, then it's going to get aggravating. But with just one, last year, I mean, they have more than just one, but
I understand
this
your
one
point.
recency.
Yeah, just one in a row. I got it.
Right, one in a row, exactly. So
Well, we
you
have
guys
to
hate the
win.
Bears?
Yeah. What's that, Dave? Dave? Oh, looks like I lost Dave.
Dave's frozen.
Dave froze.
Oh,
now he's
I'm
back.
unfrozen.
There
I
he
feel
is.
so much better.
Now he's back.
I got family that live in Chicago, Des Plaines, and we go up and visit. So, I still have my Chicago Bears mug my cousin gave me when, I was in my 20s. So,
There you go.
so I can't,
That's been summers
the
in
Bears
Berlin
shuffle.
growing
I
up.
mean, I go back to that time.
Shuffle.
Refrigerator Perry. It's like
Yeah.
Refrigerator Perry in and of himself makes the Bears unhateable. So, I mean,
I spent summers in Berwyn growing up, which I hear is not a great area now.
No, it's not.
Now, at the time, it was not bad.
Right.
But yeah, it's I hear it's not good anymore. But yeah, I mean, it's listen, I'm looking forward to the week. I appreciate the fact that you came by. I really do. One more question. We were talking about Brady and his marketing and all of that, and hating Brady just because you're sick of him winning and things like, or there's that element, which I get and I understand it. I did not like Brady until he came to the Bucs, and I'll just tell you straight up. I mean, but he's a different guy. I feel like he's a different guy now. He's likable now versus mechanical like he was in New England.
Yes.
I mean, he's funny. Who knew?
Right.
he tosses Super Bowl trophies from boat to boat. I mean,
gets drunk. I mean, it's he
doesn't eat bread.
Quickly, it did not take long for him to become Florida man. It did not.
No, he adapted well.
Yeah. You can soon expect cornrows and gold teeth and welcome to he's well on his way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right,
God.
Kevin. Thank you for coming by, my friend. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys.
Great
Yeah,
insight.
Take care.
You know what? Like we could do this. I don't know if you saw we had the Philly fan come on here.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that? Came on. He was our
I
guest
saw part
last
of it.
week.
I
Okay.
saw part
He
of it.
came
then I
back
had to
on
come
because
over.
we had a little bet with him last week.
Oh, I love bets. Let's do it.
Okay. So here's the deal. If Tampa wins, you have to eat a Cuban sandwich. If
Okay.
the Bucs win, I have to eat a slice of Chicago deep dish pizza. Even though deep dish is not really Chicago, is it? I mean,
Yeah.
Want to make
is.
it more
That's-
interesting and make it the spread, 12.5 points?
Oh man, just the spread. Now we gotta go
you
for the
want to
win.
give him 12.5 points, Dave?
Or gotta
Hey,
go
I'm
for
just
the win.
throwing it out there for make it more interesting.
Let's go for the win. Let's do it because I got a
Okay,
feeling
you
the
want to
Bears
do
are
it straight
gonna pull
up?
off the
We got to
upset.
bet you'll come back next week.
Oh yeah, I'll come back next week. I don't know where the hell I can find a Cuban sandwich anywhere around here, but
It's
I'll find one
Chicago. You
somewhere.
got one of everything, don't you?
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
It's an international city.
there is food all over there, all over that city.
That is
Listen,
I've
one of
consumed
the-
a
hold
good
up
bit of it in my
sandwich.
day.
Listen, you can hold a Reuben up and tell us it's a Cuban. We're not going to be able to tell.
Okay, there you go. A little cheat for me, a little cheat code. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'll
You
be
and
back.
Philly found one. You could probably go to what? I don't know if you have 7-Elevens up there and probably find.
Oh
one.
yeah, we got 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. They got one over there.
Yeah.
Won't be an issue.
All right. Awesome. I appreciate you coming by, Kevin. A lot of fun. And I look forward to the game this Sunday at 4:25.
Yeah,
I'd
prime
say good
time.
luck to you, but I really don't want you to have a good day.
Yeah, well, I don't want you to have a good day.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
low optimism this game, but hey, you never can rule it out. Maybe Khalil Mack will do what he did to Tristan Wirfs last year and throw him all over the turf, and Tom Brady will be left, doing one of these again.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
he won't know the down. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
we all
he's
remember
got
that.
nightmares.
Thank you. Thank
He's
you
got
for
nightmares.
finally
Hey,
bringing
I
something
look.
up
It
and
took
being-
it took me a while, but I'm
Now
look,
you're warming up.
Because Tom Brady
this
was
is- this is
confused,
what
but he
happened.
got better. So
He made a TikTok about it, and that was he's able to overcome his fears of it by creating a TikTok and finally owing up to the pure idiocy that was that moment. So good for him for that. But
That was pretty classic. That was
it was classic. But
That's why Bucs hate when we look back at that game last year. We're just like, ugh.
exactly.
But now, you know what's happened? Let me tell you, Kevin. What's happened is the opposite. And now Bucs fans went into this year going, "Oh, we're going to go undefeated."
Yeah,
Oh,
man. That's it's
mean-
always gonna be those fans.
we were
Yeah.
7-5, down 17-0 at the half against Atlanta. I don't think any honest Buck fan would have sat there and told you, "Oh yeah, we're about to make a Super Bowl run."
Incorrect, Dave. Incorrect. On the air at halftime, I said something just happened to this team. The light switch flipped. They're not going to lose again.
Well,
I said
besides
it
Rick,
on the air.
he was
okay.
1 in a million.
No, it's a fact. I said it on
Pull the
Bucs
tape.
report. I said at halftime, I said something. Just
Well, I was going to
happened
say you
this
can't
team.
prove that, but I guess you can. So
I can't prove it. I'll go back and pull it up, and I'll line up the guys who heard me say it. And Matt Colson, if you're out there, give me a call. Yeah, Matt, if you're out there, call in, and he'll verify that I said this. Matt from Oklahoma City. But anyway, guys, thank you, Kevin. Thank you for coming on, my friend.
great insight. Appreciate
You're awesome.
it.
We'll
Yeah.
see you one way or the other 1 week from tonight. One of us will be eating.
One of us will be in, and it's gonna be you. I'll tell you that.
All right. Have a good one, my friend.
Take care, guys.
Take care. Awesome. That was fun. He brought it late. He came late, brought it. So we've got more enemies coming in here. But yes, Dave, absolutely. I will stand on the fact that I said it publicly. I said at halftime of that game, the Bucs are going to win today and they won't lose again.
You are the man.
Well, you could see there was just a different attitude. Something happened with the team. You could tell that there was the end of that half when they went into the halftime, they were pissed. You could tell they were pissed, and something was different. It was like all of a sudden they cared. It was like they figured it out and cared, and they came back with a vengeance. And
Well, I mean, if you think back to that point in the season, their backs were against the wall at that point.
yeah. Well, Matt Coulson, I had the conversation with Matt Coulson, that's who I was talking to, and yeah, absolutely. And if Harry the Greek was around, he'd tell you. I said it at that point. But anyway, it happens. So yeah, Kevin looks like Gronk. He definitely looks like a Gronkowski, doesn't he? He did look like he was a Gronkowski. That's absolutely the truth. Russ Weeks says he hates the Bears. Johnny Dean says he hates Jerry Jones. And yeah, Johnny with those lights, and he could get them flashing and everything. Wow. Yep. It's absolutely true. He does look like that. So we do have another guest coming by here. Supposedly we will have Mason West, the co-host of the Chicago Audible and Dr. Physical Therapy. He's going to be coming on here, which isn't going to be, I'll be like trying to get some free advice on my injured knee. So we will be talking to him hopefully shortly. He'll be coming on. Looking forward to hearing from him. Get another Bears fan in here. But if he's some kind of doctor, he's probably going to be polite. Come on. This is like the Saints. Now the Saints are going to bring it. There's going to be some smart ass talking from New Orleans, because that's all they have. I mean, come on, there's got to be. But Chicago, everybody's so polite. It's funny. We'll see what happens. But you guys, do you have any questions you want me to ask the next Bears fan? Bring it. Let me hear the questions. Let me hear what you have to say about this. The game is Sunday at 4:25, and guys, I'm excited about this game. I do think this is going to be a blowout. Johnny's always talking 50 burger. Johnny's always saying this week 50 burger. We almost did one of those games, but I think it may be this week. We blew out the Dolphins, but I think this week.
I don't know. I mean, you still got Khalil Mack. He can play a little ball.
The Rams have Aaron Donald, and they put 55 up on him a year ago. I mean,
true, but the Bears are going to. Well, we'll see. They'll try to run the ball, but they may try to shorten the game.
They will not try to run the ball. They will not try and run the ball. They
don't have much option here.
Well, no, they'll throw short passes. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get a lot of hitting the running backs out of the backfield. You're going to get a lot of checkdowns. You're going to get a lot of dink and dunks, and that has the ability to make the game close. Jim Melvin just gave the exact keys to the game. Jim, you're on point tonight. Low points, no turnovers, Bucs cruise. If they do those things, yes, they will. Yes, they will. Johnny says, to be honest, the last 2 times I said 50 burger, we scored 40s. Okay.
We'll say it again.
Yeah, I'm waiting. Say it again. No, I get it. It's probably not going to be 50, but I don't think this game's going to be close. I do think that, look, Bears fans like Justin Fields. I get it. They want a good quarterback so bad. And whether he's a good quarterback or not, who knows? It's much like a quarterback going to the Jets. They have no shot. I don't understand how this works. I don't know what makes this the case, but you can change coaches. I mean, it's got to come from ownership, but because you can change coaches, you can change almost the entire environment, and they're still going to suck because they're the Jets. I'm not trying to be a smartass, Jacob. I'm not trying to really give it. I'm not trying to dog them as much as I'm just stating the reality. There's something broken in that franchise. There's something broken in the Bears franchise. I don't know if it's ownership. I don't know what's going on. And that's the horrible thing is when you have a bad owner. It's terrible when you have a bad owner because you can't fire the owner. So you're stuck. It's a horrible thing. Now, Jim brought this up. Jim is correct. As Johnny Dean always says, it's about matchups. The Bucs match up well against the Bears this year. Yeah. You're correct. This looks like This looks like a game that should probably end something like, honestly, it should end up something like 27 to, something. Oh, okay, hold on. Here comes Mason West.
Well, I was thinking
Hopefully
42 to
bringing
7
some heat.
Bucks.
Hopefully bringing a little heat. Hopefully a little more fire and a little more Bears passion. Let's see what we got here. How you doing, my friend?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Welcome. A couple of things. I'm gonna behave and just talk about the Bucks, but I injured my knee, and you're the guy I want to talk to. But look, here's the deal. This game, you guys beat us last year. We're all well aware. Okay, we all remember it vividly. We all remember Tom Brady holding up the four fingers, going, fourth down, but we all remember the game. Okay, it was our worst game last year. It's our worst memory from a beautiful, wonderful, amazing season. Okay, what's going to happen this year?
Oh man, this year I think there's going to be a little revenge when it comes to the Buccaneers and Brady at this point in time. I mean, it's going to be a game. Don't get me wrong. The Bears, they have a defense. That's the calling card of Chicago for years. It's still the calling card. They still got players on there, but they got some excitement on offense now with Justin Fields. But last year it was a little different. You had Nick Foles in our center, not the most skilled player, but for whatever reason seems to be kind of Brady's kryptonite. Talk about the Super Bowl. You talk about that game last year. But there's something off with the Bears offense right now, right? It just doesn't have any power to it. They average about, I think it's 16 points per game. Right. And the Buccaneers do that in a quarter. It's hard to have a game when you have it that off.
Well, now let me tell you, this is an honest observation from the outside. I feel like the Bears, I don't understand what the deal is with them, because it doesn't matter who gets drafted, doesn't matter who's on the team, doesn't matter who the coach is. It just seems like the Bears are always right where they are now. They can't get over the hump, but they're not getting below it either. They're always just right.
Just
there.
Okay.
Right. Well, you're usually second in the division.
Okay.
Right. I mean, Detroit, is going to be last. Green Bay is going to be first. Sorry. But I mean, it's a battle for 2 and 3. That's how it feels year after year. And what is it going to take for the Bears to change that?
Well, ultimately what it's going to take is they're in the process of it, right? First, you need a franchise quarterback. And can Justin Fields be that franchise quarterback?
Can he?
Right, exactly. And that's
I'm asking. I want to know from you.
And I personally think he can be. I think when you look at the tools that he has, with the way the NFL is changing, right? It's no longer just a stay in the pocket league. You have to be able to move. But the thing that's great about Justin so far is he moves to throw the ball, right? He doesn't have the highest rushing yards right now. His numbers aren't great in that perspective because he doesn't do it. He gets outside the pocket, and sometimes to his detriment, because he's still learning the feel and understanding that, hey, by the way, you're not just the fastest guy on the field anymore. Right. Some of these DNs can also run 4.4s. That he tries to move the ball down the field. Now, he has that. He has the work ethic, right? He says the right stuff. Again, he's a rookie. Some things he's seeing for the first time. These coverages he's seeing for the first time.
So you still feel good about him?
I feel great about him.
Okay.
When you compare him to some of the other rookies right now, look at it. Look at Jacksonville. They're not killing it. But I mean, that's the Jaguars. So take that with
Isn't that usually the case? Usually, when you have a rookie quarterback, though, they're going to a terrible team.
Mm-hmm. Justin's coming to a Bears team that is, as you said, they're always right in the middle. They're the definition of mediocre and the definition of 500. Right. Now, this year, there's only so much that he can elevate. And that's the thing, too. If you look at what happened, he didn't get to play with the ones all training camp. Not a single time. He had no rapport with Darnell Mooney, no rapport with Allen Robinson. So he's getting the rapport now. So he's behind. Look at Mac Jones. He had an actual competition. Right. Trevor Lawrence, he was handed the reins right away. So he's learning it now, and that's why I think the product is not quite what you'd want it to be at this point in time. But yes, absolutely, with time, he has all the tools to get there. It's more about what the stuff around him in terms of the weapons and the coaching.
Well, tell me about the coaching.
So it's not a secret that Bears fans are not super happy with Matt Nagy.
He's 0 for 2 on the show.
he's fired himself twice as the offensive coordinator, essentially giving up play calling duties. Bill Lazor's now in theory calling the plays, and there's been a better flow with Bill Lazor calling plays. Matt Nagy's coaching for his job, and every decision he makes, that's reflected in that. He seems like he's great in the locker room. Seems like he's a great head coach, but he hasn't been the offensive mind that Bears fans were hoping for when he came from Kansas City.
Okay. Now, and who would you like to see him replaced with?
The two that come to mind right away are Dable out of Buffalo, just what he's done with Josh Allen, and then Greg Roman out of
It's the same two that we just
Baltimore.
heard from.
They're 2-0 on the show.
Yeah.
It's because I think Bears fans see what they've done with a young mobile quarterback and what that can be. Right. And it's because the other people scare us.
But isn't that why Nagy got hired? Because of what he did in Kansas City?
In theory, that's the thought process. But if you look at Nagy's trajectory, it was very fast. He only called a couple of games in terms of being the play caller in Kansas City. And who knows what he did in terms of that Patrick Mahomes development, because Mahomes didn't start that year, right? That was Alex Smith the whole time. So we don't really know.
Okay. Now, I've asked every fan who's come on here from other teams, and I want an honest answer. When you think of teams like, well, let's say the Packers, okay, or the Cowboys, or even New England, there are teams that are just hateable. The Eagles, they're teams that, they're just hateable.
The Packers.
Yeah.
I'm trying to relate.
Yeah. Are the Bucs a hateable team when you think about them?
For me, they're not. And I think the reason for that is because for the longest time when I've thought about the Bucs, there hasn't been they weren't that viable. No offense.
The Bucs,
Right. It was like
you guys lose a lot.
Yeah, it was Jameis Winston. It was like he was a meme, a walking meme. Like, let's eat a W, and I was like, oh, that's cute, right? Like that's that you had weapons, but it was never a thing, right? And especially me, like I still feel like I think on the younger side. I'm only 30 right now,
right.
And so going back even into the annals of Bucs history, so I was like, oh, they're there, cool. Let's go to a Buccaneers game. Like maybe if they match up, because it'd be fun to go to Florida. But so now it's like great. So I think I'm happy for the Bucs because it's like cool. Okay. You had the weapons the whole time. You finally have a head coach that's legit. Then we don't have Dirk Cutter anymore, who's a weird dude. I don't understand that whole relationship.
A quarterback starting to peak.
Right, you have the quarterback who's hitting the prime of his career.
Yeah, took him a while, but he hung in there,
And so it's kind of cool to see what the NBA has done for a while. Now the NFL is doing with the Buccaneers, where it's like all these guys that didn't win championships on other teams, like joining forces, like the Super Friends. Yeah, and and it's fun. I like it.
You're too young to know about the Super Friends.
I like seeing Leonard Fournette coming out of nowhere. I like seeing Gronk. Just being Gronk coming out of retirement and partying in Tampa. So, and the thing that's great about it is that there's an expiration date. The fact is
or is there?
That's the thought, at least, right? It's like,
we're not sure.
Top 10 or something in terms of the average age. They have to be. I don't know.
We all thought that the expiration date came before he got to Tampa. To be honest with you,
I was not happy when I heard.
We were hoping max 2 years, and now we're like, he's got 3 more in him.
He doesn't eat bread, so he's in great shape.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. Look, and he's likable. Who knew? I didn't know he was a likable guy. I didn't
tossing trophies from boat to boat. I mean,
I mean, he's. I did not know he was this funny and had this kind of personality. Look, when this game happens, I can tell you as a Bucs fan, the Bucs, the thing that we are that we've dealt with a lot, we, for some reason, our defense, and this goes back decades. Okay. This is not this current team only. Okay. This goes back decades. We always suck against rookie quarterbacks. Okay. Not usually, not most of the time, not every once in a while, always suck against rookie quarterbacks. The last Bears fan who came on here said, you guys just don't throw mid-range passing at all. We're the cure for that. Okay. So expect to feel better about that part of the game plan. Okay.
I'm excited for that.
Now, you are not going to be able to run against the Bucs.
You're down to one running back, so
But it doesn't matter. You're not going to be able to run against the Bucs. That's the only thing I can tell you confidently. I'm not even thinking about it, worrying about it, anything. You're not going to be able to do it, but you will be able to throw short passes against the Bucs. You'll mark my words. Fields will have a day that looks like his best day in the sense that you're going to see him 7 for 7, but he'll only have 60 something yards, at the beginning of the game because he's going to be dumping the ball off a lot. It's going to be a lot of dinking and dunking, and your short passing game is going to take the place of your running game. That's what I expect. So to give you a little, this is so backwards. I have to do this every stinking week. It's ridiculous. To give you hope is what, while this looks like a good matchup for the Bucs in the sense that you guys are you're running kind of, that's your team.
Absolutely.
And that's our strength. We will make you look better when it comes to short passes. You will move the ball down the field. You will get yards. Just you're gonna have a hard time once you get in the red zone. That's Buck ball. So
hey, shoot that into the veins of every Bears fan. They'll take like a box score that looks like Justin is making the offense move, like you said, 7 for 7.
Yeah.
They'll take that all day long at this point because it's been so hit or miss.
Yeah.
Look at the last game; it was basically tail to half. Right, the first drive and one of the last drives, second to last drive. Justin looked fantastic. The offense was moving, but a lot of that was the run game. The Bears fans are like, well, what about that pass game? So if they could establish that, if all of a sudden Allen Robinson gets some right, if the tight ends could get some receiving yards, Bears fans would be ecstatic.
Yeah. Well, my friend, thank you for coming by. I really appreciate you coming by. We'll tell everybody about your podcast.
Yeah, so Chicago Audible. It was started by actually Will DeWitt, who's kind of the main guy there, but slowly Nicholas Moriano and myself have come on now, and we just talk Bears football. We'll do just today did a meet the opponent, talk to another Bucs podcast. That we'll do a follow up right afterwards. We're lucky enough that we were credentialed by the team, so we get to go to the press box, watch the games live. We did our last recording from the field. It's a fun time. So if you want to just getting a little more idea of what's going on with the Bears behind the scenes, feel free to check out this week's, and we'll talk about why we feel that the Bears will stumble their way to looking better than they should in this game.
Well, I think they will. I think that they will. I think you can. One of two things is going to happen. Either you're going to be surprised and Justin Fields is going to have a decent game. I still think the Bucs are going to win, or it's going to get ugly quick. It's going to go one way or the other. We'll know by the end of the first quarter.
The biggest question I have, I guess, still is, will Brady remember which down it is when it's most important?
Let me tell you something. As a Chicago Bears fan, I understand you not knowing how to evaluate quarterbacks because you've never had one. But I can tell you we'll be just fine.
They had Jim McMahon. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
they
we
had Jim McMahon.
QB.
Yeah, that's one thing I can. One thing I will tell you, it's a fact. I've never felt this as a Bucs fan ever. When the Bucs got the ball with 5.5 minutes left, we were up by 6 last week, and we didn't even have to score the touchdown. We just ran the clock out. I've never had that feeling before. It's like just keep it within 6 with 2 minutes.
Give Brady the ball at the end.
Yeah, minute and a half. Put it in Brady's hands. We got this. I've never felt that before, and I'm not trying to be cocky about it. It's weird feeling.
And the field goal kicker makes field goals at the end. It's amazing.
It's bizarre.
It's new.
We're not used to this. We are not used to this. Mason, thank you for coming by. I really do appreciate you coming by and coming into enemy territory and talking some Bears. And I appreciate it. Appreciate the info. What's the one thing you can leave us with? What's the one thing we need to be most concerned about?
The thing I think really you should be the most concerned about is ultimately going to be the Bears pass rush. At the end of the day, Robert Quinn is currently on the COVID list.
Mm.
Might be able to play. We got to see with that. But at the end of the day, with him, Khalil Mack, Akeem Hicks is a little banged up, but it is a deep, deep defensive line. Can the Buccaneers protect Brady? Because I would be a little concerned if I was a Bucs fan, just if he's going to get roughed up a bit in this game.
Awesome.
Fair enough.
Great. Thank
Great
you for coming by
insight.
here, Mason.
Thank you,
so
Mason.
much. Thanks for having me.
Have a great one. All right. Awesome. Very good. Bears fans at least bring the knowledge. No trash talk, but they bring the knowledge.
They're a cautious bunch.
Yes, they are. Holy cow, man. Nobody will talk trash. I guess that's because the Bucs are Super Bowl champs. Everybody tries to, everybody's like, yeah, I can't really say much. This guy's going to be alive.
They have a rookie quarterback who hasn't been lighting it up, and they're down.
It is,
they're literally down to one running back.
Yeah.
So
it's easy to trash talk as a Bucs fan right now.
Yeah.
It really is. So yeah, anybody who comes who brings it, it's like the biggest thing. The Dallas Cowboy fans, all you Bucs fans do is talk about the past. You're a Cowboys fan. You're telling me this? That was the most trash talk we've gotten all year. Was from the Cowboys. So anyway, it's easy to trash talk when you won the Super Bowl and your team's 5-1. It's kind of, let's be honest, it's an unfair battle. It almost doesn't matter who's here.
I know it didn't feel like this after the first Super Bowl, the season after the first Super Bowl victory.
No, it
feel
did
like
not.
this.
This feels entirely different, and there's one reason, and it's because of Tom Brady. This is the difference. The culture didn't change when we won the first Super Bowl. It wasn't a new culture. This is a different culture. This is a culture that will not be satisfied with anything less than excellence. I've never been around that in the NFL. I've never seen that in the NFL. This is a whole different, it's just a whole different deal. So I don't know. I mean, look, here's the deal. They got what Aaron Rodgers did last week either helped the Bucs or hurt the Bucs with his "I still own you" talk. One of two things happened. Either the Bears are going to be pissed and they're going to come out firing all cylinders, mad with something to prove, or he just took the heart out of that team. There's not going to be anything in between. We will know by the end of the first quarter what this game's going to be like. That's my prediction. But anyway, guys, tomorrow night I will be here on with Andrew Faubert on a little show we called Against the Spread. We're going to talk all about our predictions on what are going to happen in each NFL game. We're going to have experts on that will help guide us through what to expect out of this week's games. It's a lot of fun. I think you guys will enjoy it. So be here tomorrow night at 9:00. Dave, I want to thank you for coming by, my friend.
As always, enjoyed it.
Yes, sir. And I will see you on Sunday evening.
And if I find an upcoming opponent fan who can talk trash, I will send them your way.
Please, holy cow.
I mean,
man.
really talk it.
Yeah, somebody who's like, we got to find somebody who's a bit of a jerk, some obnoxious. The Saints, it's going to be easy.
We always got Billy waiting for the Giant game.
Yes. Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. All right, my friend. Thank you for being here.
See you Sunday. Go Bucs.
Go Bucs. All right, guys. That was a lot of fun. It's another showdown. But before we do this, I want to finish with something. This is going to bring back some memories for some of you. Want to go back and visit something from days gone by. It used to be a show, but it's now going to be a segment on this show. Okay, guys, what's cooking in the South? Let me say this. The New Orleans Saints, that game is next week. I don't know what to expect out of them other than, they are probably looking forward to next week as well. Everybody's going to be keyed on the Bucs this year. This week from them, I don't expect their best. I expect especially with Jameis, he doesn't have the mental fortitude. He doesn't have I don't know what you want to call it. He doesn't have the mental makeup to really be, excuse me, that sort of to maintain, there you go, focus over a long period of time. So I don't see them as being something this week because they're going to want to come out strong against the Bucs the following week. And the Saints this week are playing on Monday night against Seattle. The Saints are favored by 5. That surprises me. We'll talk about that tomorrow night. The Panthers are playing the Giants. The Panthers are favored by 3. Listen, the Bucs have a couple game lead in the division. How about that? It's a good feeling, isn't it? A couple game lead. Come out strong this week, and let's see what happens because this division fight could be over. This division battle could be over sooner than we think if things keep going the way it looks like they're going to be going. The other thing we do on What's Cooking in the South is this. I'm going to do a food review of some sort, some way, some shape, some form. And this week, I went to my absolute favorite burger place on the planet. I love this place. I've never, you know what? Let me just roll it. Okay, guys. I am here at Shake Shack, ready to review Shake Shack's cheeseburger. Let's see what we have. Let's first of all pull out this double cheeseburger. Now, before we have done 2 things. I've done Popeye's nuggets, which I had never had, and they were very good. I had breakfast croissant at Wendy's, which I had never had. That was bad. This, I have to admit, I've had it before, and it's glorious. Shake Shack burgers are unreal. They're really bad. That's crazy. That is insane. That's a steak and burger right there. Look at that. Oh. Okay, time to eat, guys. Time to eat my Shake Shack burger. So they actually grind the meat in the restaurant the day before. So you talk about fresh ground beef, not frozen, blah, blah, blah. They grind it the night before. Holy crap, this is good. Okay, now we're going to Shake Shack fries. I don't know what crispy, Cody Shake Shack goodliness they put on this, but it's freaking great. They are great. Oh, they're crispy on the outside. Nice and fluffy on the inside. Just, oh my gosh. Highly recommend. My favorite burger place ever. Ever. I don't know what they put in the meat. What kind of crack they put in the meat. But it's phenomenal. And I can't say anything bad about these fries. Amazing. Favorite burger place ever. Shake Shack. Strongly recommend. All right. And when I say strongly recommend, that's an understatement, guys. It is my favorite burger place ever. They grind the meat in the restaurant the night before. That's ridiculous. It tastes different. I've never had beef that tastes like that. That's how we're going to finish off every show with What's Cooking in the South. So that's back. Guys, thanks a lot for being here. It's great to be a Bucs fan. There's so much to be happy about. We got more to talk about all the time here on Bucs Report. There is so much going on, so much to talk about. It's exciting. This is the golden age of being a Bucs fan. Let's enjoy it. And the only thing left to say, guys, go Bucs. Go Bucs. Go Bucs. Bucs.